Welcome to the show, Mr. Goat. The French Open's draw is out. It's a good draw for me, Mr. Goat, for tennis fans. It's a good draw for Roger, I would say. It's a good draw for Rafa, especially. But it's not such a good draw for Novak Djokovic. Mr. Goat says my hair looks funny today. He says, it kind of looks like I'm wearing a funny French hat. Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we've got the French Open 2019 Roland Garros draw right here. Of course, this is a draw show, so we will go through with it. Also, we go around the globe to hear what different tennis experts, some of them have done very well at the French Open, some of them did well at other tournaments. We'll take a look at what some of those tennis experts are saying about the French Open draw. Also, why I'm not expecting Stanislav the Manislav Wawrinka to go super far at this year's French Open. A little bit of sad bad news for him. We'll get to that much later. And if you read a headline, it says Uncle Tony slams Nick Kyrgios. He slammed him. Didn't really slam him, but he did comment on Nick Kyrgios's comments. If you'll remember, Nick Kyrgios did call Uncle Tony something like a big stupid idiot. So we'll get to that in due time. All that and nothing more, because in a draw show, it's very special. A Grand Slam draw. That's as good as it gets on today's Coffee Break Tennis. So let's not mess around the bush. Is that a thing they say in Australia? I don't know that. It sounds like a thing they might say. Let's not mess around the bush. Let's go straight to the draw. First, let's pop up on the screen. I have it on my phone. You'll have it on the screen. The individual by seed breakdowns of the big three. Keep in mind, before I put it on the screen, Roger Federer, as you can see on this little poster that Crunch Time tennis coaching guru and genius Peter Freeman gave me from 2016, obviously. The last time Roger played at the French Open, he had this racket. Remember this racket? I always thought it was a cool-looking racket. So we'll start with Federer. And we'll take a closer look at his quarter of the draw. But first, let's just go through the seeds. Mr. Sonego, Melek Jaziri from Tunisia, who's been trending downwards for some time. This is a good draw for Roger Federer. I know it's not, I know it doesn't come without its individual threats, like in the third round, Pablo Andahar or Matteo Berrettini, the Italian guy I talked about a few shows ago. I believe he beat Sasha Zverev in Rome, in Italy. He is Italian, so that helps. But he's been slowly building up the rankings, trending up and up and up. One of these next-gen guys. Well, I think he's a little bit older. He's actually like a little bit older than Zverev, but I believe he's still part of the next gen, one of the older members of the next gen, like 23, not very old. He's been trending up, and now he is here presenting a minor obstacle for Roger. When you get to the fourth round, it looks like Schwarty D. Someone commented below earlier that I was saying Schwarty D, and that's not how you say it, bro, is basically what they said. Make it sound like art is in the middle of the word. So Schwarty D. Now I sound Irish or something. Is that the Irish accent or Scottish or Welsh? One of those things. Schwarty D looks likely to get through to the fourth round when I went through the draw. Cecchinato, the Italian who, the hero of last year's French Open for many Joker face haters or Fed fans or Raw fans. They're so big, there's no room left over in their heart for little Joker. No, he's not little, he's larger than life. No room in their heart. It's hard to have room in your heart for all big three. But of course, we have all-encompassing love of the game here at Coffee Break Tennis, and we save room for all three of the fellers, whether you like it or not. We try our hardest here, at least. So he was the hero that took down Joker last year, but is Cecchinato ready to do something like that again? Can he have another huge upset this year and beat Federer in the fourth round? I don't even know if Cecchinato can make it to the fourth round, because one of the hardest things to do is go deep in a draw at a major, and one of the hardest things to do in tennis, I'm saying, go deep in a draw at a major and beat one of these big three, big four type players. But much harder than that is to keep doing it, to keep repeating these results. Obviously, no one has done it for like the last 20 years outside of our big four and, the occasional heroes of the sport who do great things consistently, like Marin Cilic, like Juan Martín del Potro, like Stanislav the Manislav. Am I leaving somebody out? Is there an obvious name that I'm leaving out? You get what I'm trying to say. Schwarty, I would have to go with Schwarty. Schwarty in the fourth round. Quarterfinal, Stefanos Tsitsipas, the City Pass. And Rafa, Medvedev, Nishikori in the semifinal. Just say Nadal. Djokovic, Dominic Thiem in the final. If we look at Novak's draw, which is not a good draw. Hurkacz rhymes with Latch. He is a next-gen guy who, big, strong dude, talented player, has had pretty good results this year. Pretty bad draw for your first round if you're Novak. Of course, Novak will get through him. But let me say something very important today. Before we even go through Rafa's draw or look further at that, I have heard experts on Tennis Channel, I have heard comments in the comment section below saying things like, okay, Nadal looks good. He won Rome. He gave Joker a bagel and a breadstick. But Nadal, he knows deep down that Djokovic wasn't 100%. Djokovic had a late match the previous day. Djokovic had been through a couple tough matches. There is a valid point there. But this draw, unfortunately for Joker and the Joker faces, the Nole fans around the world, the Nole fam, as they say it on Twitter, which is so ponderous. No insult to Joker. Do not misunderstand. Some of the Twitter lingo. Lingo? No better word for it than ponderous. My big point here is that Djokovic's draw, it'll be even worse than what happened in Rome. Now, you get your day off in between matches. But if Rafa is worried, I don't know if I can beat Joker at the French Open, because when I gave him a bagel and a breadstick just a few days ago in Rome, he might have been tired. Well, you better believe he's going to be tired, because let's take a look at what he's got. Hurkacz, Sam Querrey. I know the guy has been off for some time, but he's got a big serve. Anything can happen if a guy like that... Remember, wasn't Sam Querrey once down love 40 in a game and hit 5 aces in a row or something crazy like that? Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you never know. A Sam Querrey, that's not the best draw in the second round either. This is a guy who was a top player not long ago, was a Wimbledon was he in the semifinalist 2017? Anyways, that's Wimbledon, this is French Open. I get that too. My point is, Hurkacz rhymes with Latch, followed by Sam Querrey, if he gets there. The third round, it could be Gilles Simon. It could be Jaume Munar. And I think it's going to be Jerry Seinfeld, Doppelganger, Dingeldorfer. It's one of those things that's a German word. One of the few German words I don't know. I think Jerry Seinfeld, Doppelganger, Jaume Munar will be the guy who comes through to the third round. Of course, I expect Djokovic to beat Hurkacz, rhymes with Latch, Sam Querrey, and Jaume Munar. But again, if you're going to go out there and put money on Joker wins this year, he beats Rafa in the final, or he beats Dominic Thiem in the semifinal, if he had some struggles in Rome because he was tired, this looks like a draw of guys who can make him tired. And cue the fourth round, Borna Coric. I looked up to Djokovic as I grew up, and my game is quite similar to him guy. He could make Joker run around the court for quite some hours, wear him down. Quarterfinal, Sasha Zverev, who I watched his match today against Hugo? Is it Hugo Delin? However you say his name, the guy from Bolivia, who's like I've said before, one of these many young guys who are good on clay that, if you're Federer, if you're Joker, not a lot of guys who are young coming up here, it's like, oh, they're great grass court players. But if you're Rafa, a lot of young, talented clay players coming along. Maybe not going to be a problem this year. Anyways, this guy, you could file him away in that category. And he gave Sasha a tough match. Sasha had some serious issues on serve, but he did put in like 20 aces or 18 or something like that. Sasha fought pretty hard. This was a good win. And if I'm Sasha, I don't even mind if I lose the next round up. Like, I've got some wins under my belt. Same with Felix Auger. He's got some wins under his belt wherever the heck they're playing right now. One's in Switzerland, one in Schweiz. The other one's in Lyon, I think is how you pronounce it, in France. So Zverev and Felix Auger, they're getting some wins before they go to the French Open. Hopefully they're not going to feel unfresh by the time they get to the French Open. But I am encouraged, like we saw Rafa gradually get better and better, although much faster when we see Sasha Zverev getting better. Sasha Zverev is making strides in the right direction. Will he get to the quarterfinals? I don't know. Will Fabio Fognini get to the quarterfinals? I don't know if that's who's seeded to meet Novak there. Dominic Thiem, semi, Rafa or Roger in the final. And finally, Rafa. I mean, it couldn't get any better. The guy who needs the help the least, although maybe this year you could argue Rafa does need a little bit of help to win and dominate like he has for so many years. He could win a 12th Roland Garros. It's pretty amazing. Let's credit Rafa. Qualifier. I mean, he's guaranteed. He's got a qualifier already in the first round, and the second round is the result of 2 qualifiers playing it in the other first round. So Rafa definitely will start with 2 qualifiers. If you look through the qualifier draw, Dustin Brown was in there. That would have been awkward, but he lost in the final round. I saw Tennis Sandgren was going to play, I believe, today. That might already be over. I didn't check again. I didn't see any names in the qualifying draw that really jumped out at me like, ooh, you better hope you don't get that guy. So we'll see who Rafa's qualifiers are. Looks pretty good to me. Dennis Koodles, he's not going to get to the third round. David Goffin, he's supposed to be there. He could be there. Obviously, he's struggled for a couple years now, so that's a good draw for Rafa. Now, this gets a little tricky. Gasquet, if he got to the 4th round, no one would ever imagine betting money on Gasquet to beat Rafa in the 4th round of the French Open. You'd be nuts. You might as well flush it down the toilet. He won't be there, but of course, playing a French guy at the French Open, the crowd, the implications from that, not too worried about that. I don't think he's going to get there. Guido Pella, that is a guy who's challenged Rafa. Where did they play in Monte Carlo? Did they play twice, Barcelona and Monte Carlo? Anyways, that's a guy who can really play on clay, could challenge a little bit. Basilashvili, yeah, he's good, and he could do well on clay, but he's not going to do well against Rafa, unless Rafa, I don't even want to say it, gets an injury. I don't even want to talk about injuries. I don't want to wish that on anybody. Obviously I'm not wishing it. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say the words. I won't say it again. Quarterfinal, Medvedev, Tsonga, Nishikori. Semifinal, Federer or Tsitsipas. Stefanos could get through here. I would like to see Federer beat Stefanos and get revenge for the Australian Open. That's going to be tough. Joker, Dominic Thiem, Sasha Zverev in the final. That's not happening. So before we dive into the full draw, and I starred some matches I think you should look out for in day one, let's go through a little bit of news first. That's the gist of it. That's what everyone will be talking about, is those things I just told you. Of course, the people who can meet in quarters. You know what? Screw it. Let's do the draw first. It's just too damn exciting. Too darn exciting. So here's what I got for quarterfinals. So Djokovic, I believe, will get through. He could have to face in a round of 16 Shapo, Coric, Jan-Lennard Struff. Don't discount Struff, because if you look at his section of the draw, sure, he's got Shapo first. That's not going to be super fun, but if I had to bet money, I'd probably go with Struff. Radu Alberto, the machine. Struff should be able to power through him. Coric comes through guys like Aljaz Bedini, Lloyd Harris. If you're Lloyd Harris and you're watching this video, I'm so sorry. That must be very insulting. But Lloyd Harris, how's Lloyd Harris going to get through here? So Coric, Struff, Shapo. One of those guys. Joker will beat all of them. Struff is dangerous. I'm more scared of Struff. Maybe Shapo if he's really on and feeling it and just going all out. Coric, I feel like anytime you play like a guy who's very similar to your style game, you're just a better version of it, a lot better. It doesn't worry me too much. Joker will out-Joker, baby Joker face Coric. Now, below that is where I have trouble figuring out who's going to come through here. All right, so Nick Kyrgios, if he was super serious, if he was a super serial guy about his sport, I would say this is a good opportunity for Nick Kyrgios to get through. Sasha Zverev has to play John Millman first. Not the best draw for a guy who, when I was watching the match today with Sasha, it seemed like, hey, make him play a lot of balls. He's going to miss. There was one service game, I believe it was 1-1 in the third set for Sasha and this Hugo Delin guy from Bolivia. And Sasha, I think he was down to break point, then he fires off like 2 aces. Then he's got advantage. And then the first ball, it's nothing crazy. He shanks a forehand just straight up in the air. It just always felt like, come on, make him play, and he'll cough up some errors, and you'll end this match. Now, credit Sasha, who threw in some serious aces and really played well to pull himself out of trouble against this young man, Hugo. But if you're playing John Millman first, this guy's going to make you hit a lot of balls. I would not be shocked to see Sasha lose, but I am encouraged, and if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Sasha winning here. Maybe a month ago I say he loses to John Millman. I think he'll win. But then he'll have to play a qualifier. Qualifier. That's nice. Then he could face Duzilajevic or Cam Norrie, Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios, for the love of God, you better come through Cam Norrie here. Cam Norrie might be tricky somewhere else, but on clay, he just doesn't have the firepower. Nick should be able to handle that. Duzilajevic of Serbia, who did he go to the final of Monte Carlo and lost to Fabio Fognini, was playing very well, beat Dominic Thiem there. No incredible results like that after, but still, he's on our claydar. He's on our radar. He's on our claydar this season, this 2019 clay court season. So I see this as an opportunity to get to the round of 16 in this bottom part here of the top quarter. It's an opportunity for Doozy. It's an opportunity for Nick Kyrgios. It's an opportunity for Sasha Zverev. But I don't think Kyrgios or Zverev will step up. I do think Doozy would be likely to come through here. But again, it's very hard to pick. Now, Fabio's section right above that. Fritzy boy, who's been looking for a young American, pretty good on the clay. He'll play Bernie Tomic first. Then he's going to have to go through Batista Agut if Batista Agut can get through Stevie Johnson, the mustache. I like Agut, the hard worker, to come through here. And I like Fabio, even though Del Bonis, if Fabio plays Del Bonis, that could be tough. But come on, Fabio, for the love of God. You won Monte Carlo. Have some confidence in yourself, man. Get through this section. I like Fabio and Agut. I'm going to go with the guy who's more level. If I have to put money on it, Agut to come through Fabio. But I would love to see Fabio. The point is, in the quarterfinal, you shall see Joker versus, my guess, most likely we'll see Duzilajevic or Batista Agut. But Sasha Zverev, Fabio Fognini, Nick Kyrgios, those guys should get through there. But of course, none of us will be comfortable betting our livelihood on it. Next section, the Dominic Thiem section. Tommy Paul, young USA guy, supposed to be good. Haven't seen a lot of him play. Jeremy Chardy could maybe be a threat to Dominic Thiem here. Kyle Edmund, come on. Pablo Cuevas from Uruguay, good on clay, obviously. I like Dominic Thiem to come through, and then he could maybe face in the round of 16 Verdasco or Le Monfils. I like Dominic Thiem to come through. Kachanov has a nice section here. Luca Pouille is his seed. No reason. Luca Pouille has done nothing to make us think he should go deep here, other than he had a good Australian Open, and he's a French guy. Those things look nice in his favor. Nothing else does. Nicht. Kein. Can't think of another German word that works there. So Kakinak, old Kakinaki, he should be able to get through to the round of 16. But below him, it's loaded up a little. First of all, you got a battle of old guys with good serves. Ivo Karlovic and Lopez are in there. Mankey McDonald, Yoshihito Nishioka. Nicholas Yari will probably be the toughest thing for Delpo, the first one up, the Chilean. These Chilean guys, they're hot on clay. Felix Auger's in there. He'll play Jordan Thompson first. I like him to get through the battle of old men champion, Karlovic or Lopez. I think we could see Nicholas Yari, however you say it, or Delpo versus Auger Aliassime. And then one of them will play Kakinak. I'm taking Delpo through there. I would not be shocked to see Felix Auger, who looks really good right now. Hopefully he doesn't get too tired before he gets to French Open. He plays again tomorrow. So wouldn't be shocked to see Auger or Jerry. Wouldn't be super shocked to see Kachanov take advantage here, but I'm not expecting it. Money's on Delpo. So we got an exciting quarterfinals lineup on the top half of the draw. We got a mystery one. Djokovic versus maybe Fognini, maybe Sasha, most likely someone like Batista Agut, Dusan Lajovic. Then we got Dominic Thiem and Juan Martín del Potro. Like I said, this is some tough stuff. Think about Djokovic. Jaume Munara, her catch rhymes with latch, maybe Sam Querrey, maybe Struffy Struve, or a Shapa or a Chorch. All of these are tough. Batista Agut, Dusan Lajovic, Zverev, Fognini, Kyrgios, any of those guys in the quarterfinal, not the worst draw in the world, but you could get a weaker player there. I guess this is the easiest part of Djokovic's draw is right there. Like, who comes through there? It's such a mystery. Maybe someone catches fire. Maybe it's Nick Kyrgios. Maybe Nick Kyrgios is just inspired to get to Djokovic because he talked all that smack about Djokovic and he wants to give us what we all crave. We want to see him and Djokovic go at it. We want to see Kyrgios extend his undefeated win streak over Djokovic. Some of us. I probably would pull for Djokovic there. I would understand why Djokovic would want to smack Kyrgios down and get a win on him finally. But I'm not going to deny, I would love to see that match either way. Thiem and Delpo, you got to beat one of those guys to get to the final and probably face Rafa. Life is looking really hard on Joker. We'll hold on to this and see how my predictions become true or not true. How are we doing on time? Holy shnikes, we're running out of time. You know, I had the women's draw marked up to tell you some predictions. I don't think we're going to make it. Bottom half of the draw. Now the fun begins. I've got Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Federer, obviously. Nishikori or Medvedev. Another mystery section. Who will Nadal face in the quarterfinal? Just like with Djokovic. Not too much of a mystery for me because Stefanos has a pretty nice draw. It's hard to bet on a 20-year-old, but this is the most comfortable I'm going to be putting my confidence on a 20-year-old next-genner is Stefanos. So Nadal versus Guido Pella I have in a round of 16. I've got Benoit Paire having an inspired run and getting through guys like Medvedev, Yao Souza-Palooza. I just really like Benoit personally, so maybe that's crazy. It's probably going to be Medvedev in that. Laszlo Jetta. I swear to God, I heard people on Tennis Channel saying Jetta, like the Volkswagen Jetta. Laszlo Jetta. Let's call him the Jetta. Nishikori and Jetta, whoever comes through there, will play Medvedev or Benoit Paire is what I'm thinking. Juan Ignacio, Londero, Basilashvili, those guys could get through. Obviously, I'm not going by seeds because some of this stuff is different than when we looked at the seeded draw portion. So I got Nadal versus... It's hard to pick Medvedev, another next-gen guy. Yeah, he's been really hot this year, but hard to pick at the majors. Things get real at the majors, as we all know. Here at Coffee Break Tennis, the home of the highest tennis IQ, smartest tennis fans in El Mundo. For Tsitsipas, he has Maximilian Marterer, a young Deutscher Jungen. Steph should be able to get through there. Roberto Carballes Baena, Big Foe, or Flip Krajinovic. I like Stefanos' draw. I mean, no one's a pushover in a Grand Slam, but you know that looks pretty doable. Stan, who I don't know if we'll have time to get to it, so I'll just tell you he's going through a breakup with his girlfriend, Donna Vekic, who became most famous when Nick Kyrgios said, "My mate," which is horrible. I don't even want to bring it up. I feel terrible. If Stan's watching, I'm sorry. I know what it's like, Stan, to go through a breakup with a beautiful girl. It must be really hard on Stan. So that alone, Stan hasn't looked anything close to his best. He's had his moments this year for sure. He's had moments where it looks like he might be on the right track. Then he'll always kind of step back. Now he's going through this. It's going to be pretty rough on him to come through unless his heart just hardens and he just becomes a machine, a tennis-killing machine. That could happen. I got Christian Garin to get through. Stan there. Look at this. I got some first rounds starred for you, actually. Let me tell you from my first page. Day one, watch out for Djokovic Hurkacz, obviously. Shapo, Struff, Fritz, and Bernard Tomic. John Millman, Sasha Zverev, Nicholas Jarry, and Delpo. Obviously, it's going to be the toughest one for Delpo, I think. Riley Opelka, Christian Garin is one of our first matches we should watch. And this, my last one here, Yanko Tipsarevic and Grigor Dimitrov. I've got Dimitrov coming through just barely, but I would feel very uncomfortable putting money on that. Marin Cilic should be able to get through to the second round and club Dimitrov. Even if Cilic isn't feeling his best, Dimitrov has been very streaky. In all of his losses, he's had great moments. He's been able to win a lot of sets. One thing guaranteed, he always loses. That's the one thing you can be sure of right now, Dimitrov. Cilic comes through. Garin comes through. I would like to say Garin. He's pretty young. I got Cilic coming through because he has so much Grand Slam experience, but do not be shocked to see Christian Garin. I thought Garin would do well in, what was he in? Was he in France or Switzerland? Wherever he just was, and he didn't. Sometimes that's good. You don't want to play the whole way through these little tournaments that end the day before the French Open starts or whatever major you're about to go to. I don't like those tournaments unless you're really desperate like Sasha Zverev right now to find any rhythm. So Garin losing early, save some energy, might be able to take down Cilic. Stefanos takes down Garin or Cilic, although Garin could come through here and Federer could don't have to play Stefanos. Federer's part of the draw. Most fun for me. I think Matteo Berrettini, the seed, does come through there. Casper Ruud boy, Ernest Gulbis. Federer gets through. Matteo Berrettini, he could beat Federer here if he had a very inspired. But again, this is a guy who had like posters of Federer on his wall. Federer will beat the young fan and admirer, Matteo Berrettini. Cecchinato and Cole Pickle, Nicholas Mahou. That's another match to pay attention to if you really love tennis. Nicholas Mahou, he's a fun French player. I'm surprised he hasn't retired from singles yet. Him and Cecchinato will go in the first round. That could be interesting. Cecchinato should be able to get through. Should be able to get through the pickle. And Schwarty should be able to get through Leonardo Oscar Mayer Wiener and get to Rogers' round of 16. I like Federer to beat Schwarty. I just don't think Schwarty has the firepower to take out Fed unless Fed's really struggling. Fed's looks pretty good to me on clay. If Fed can beat Borna Coric, I think Fed can handle Schwarty. So Fed, Stefanos. Let's look at the Nadal. Did we already look at Nadal's? Yeah, we looked at everything. Comment below. What do you think of my final four? I'll read it to you one more time. Stefanos versus Federer. If I have to pick right now, I will go with Federer finally getting revenge. And I'll also go with that takes a lot out of Federer. And he will be thrilled to be in a semifinal and will probably not go any further because he'll have to play Nadal. Nadal, I think, will be very fresh. He will beat Medvedev or Nishikori. Nadal will blaze through these guys, most likely. Nadal beats Federer in the semifinal, goes to the final, and my prediction is he wins the French Open for a 12th time. Djokovic, I think, will get through his quarter because you can't rely on most of those guys, and if it's Agut or Duzilajevic, you got to favor Djokovic big time, even if he is a little tired. I like Dominic Thiem to get through and Del Potro to get through, and this may be unpopular. But what I saw from Juan Martín Del Potro was so inspiring. The way he played, if you want to say Djokovic was tired when he played Rafa, you got to say it's all about Del Potro. And what he did, if he can come out like that, I think he can get through Dominic Thiem. I think Del Potro is sick of being injured on the sidelines and is going to take full advantage of a tournament where he should be able to do very well here. The ball moves fast enough here with his power to hit through anybody. And the ball bounces up high for a big, tall guy. I always favor the big, tall guys on clay. Dominic Thiem, just a little too wishy-washy for me this year. I know he's had some great moments, but he didn't win any of those Masters 1000s on clay. He got Barcelona. Don't forget that. Did beat Rafa. Dominic Thiem is not going to beat Rafa the way he is right now unless Dominic Thiem steps it up to a higher level. Djokovic beats Del Potro. Would love to say Del Potro beats Djokovic. Don't believe it will happen. Rafa Nadal beats Novak Djokovic. Let's run through the news really quick, and then we'll get out of here. Tony Nadal blasts Nick Kyrgios. I think it's not normal what he did the other day. What he does is not good for the game. That's it. That's all he said about it. Doesn't blast him. Responds. Pretty held back there. Nothing crazy. What I thought was more interesting from Uncle Tony was he said he played very bad against Fognini. Didn't have the level in Monte Carlo. Lacking the practice, but now the confidence. It's back, baby. It's back. Now, this is interesting. This is revealing. When he hits, he does not think about making an unforced error. This is the most important thing for Rafa. If Rafa can let his game loose, he's an unstoppable beast. He feels safe while hitting the shot, and he targets the lines more now. Rafa will be ready to win the French Open. That is a quote. Mark that down from Uncle Tony. I am not that optimistic like I was in previous years where we go to Paris holding many titles, but I feel positive. And he has another important week to raise the level. But I am positive. That's a stick volley if I ever hit one. Mats Wilander, a couple experts, and then we'll go home. Mats Wilander says, Federer, he can beat Nadal, he can beat Djokovic, but he can't win the French Open. Then he says something that undoes his credibility completely. Not really. He's saying a dream final. He says, Roger can beat Djokovic or Nadal, but winning 7 matches in a row, I don't know if that's possible. It's an open tournament. After the first 2 rounds, I think we may have a clearer idea, of course, and who has the most chances to win the trophy. My dream final this year, Stefanos Tsitsipas against Denis Shapovalov. Hey, Mats, keep dreaming. I want to see new faces. I love the top players, but for me, tennis matters the most. Well, if tennis matters the most, let the big 4 keep dominating a little longer. They're not old yet. They're kind of old. All right, this is about it. Insiders name the biggest threats to Rafa. Albert Costa, champion of the French Open. Alex Correia, 2-time finalist. Correia says he didn't need to win in Rome to head into the French Open as a favorite. But he did. He's so motivated. His forehand came back to be a top shot against his opponents. For his confidence, it's the best possible thing and at the right moment. Echoing what I said in our last show, Rafa did it perfectly. He's going to peak just in time for the French Open. A beautiful job from Rafa. Got to credit him. Now his confidence is increased. Both Rafa and Novak have time to rest. Novak reached the Rome final being tired, blah, blah, blah. What did Costa say? Costa said Rafa's playing very well. Confidence back makes him a big favorite at the French Open. He'll be at his best level as soon as he heads onto the practice courts. Playing 5 sets makes him calm because no pressure. You lose a set, Rafa knows. He loses a set, it's best of 5. He has plenty of time to crush you. Another thing would be if he had lost. His feeling would be different, and now he's at a top level. For Rafa, the French Open is the main goal of the season. He won it 11 times. Why not one more? Timmy Henman makes a prediction. I still think on clay, Nadal's the favorite, but Djokovic has won 3 majors in a row and is back. I think he got a little distracted with the ATP board stuff, but he seems to have knuckled down and played some great tennis in Rome. You know, it's a brave person, though, to bet against Nadal. Could Wawrinka? He's won before. Probably hasn't got the form right now. I'd be very surprised if the winner comes from outside of Nadal, Djokovic, or Dominic Thiem. I don't know, man. The way Juan Martín del Potro played, well, again, I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he can stop Dominic Thiem. And finally, hit the music because we're going home. Stan Wawrinka didn't want to talk about breaking up with his girlfriend, but he did laugh it off, saying, I have had many changes during my career. To me, more interesting in this news article, by the way, it's from Tennis World USA. Everything today was pretty much from Tennis World USA. He says, it's right that I handle things in a different way than I did 10 years ago. I developed myself. I'm slowly approaching the end of my career. And I came back from a serious injury. I can handle things better now. And it's not just my private life that can influence my tennis and what happens on court. Wawrinka throws out, I'm at the end of my career. And the media asks, well, are you thinking about retiring? He says, no. I was very happy with my game level since the start of the year. Hopefully I keep raising on the world rankings, win big titles. That's the goal for the second half of the season. So, Stan says the R word, basically. Well, he says the end of my career phrase. And it doesn't mean anything yet, but just one more sign. Please, tennis fans, enjoy what we are witnessing, because the great generation is trending down and a new generation is trending up. But this French Open is going to be still, I think, a very exciting one. Rafa looks like a big favorite, but he's no guarantee. But one big question for me before I bid adieu, is that what they say in France, in Frankreich? Will the Rafa body hold up for 7 best of 5? We know he can do it. We know he has the confidence, but will he feel something in his knee, in his hip? Could something go horribly wrong for Rafa physically? We sure hope not, because this is looking like we're going to have a very exciting French Open. Comment below what you think of the draw, and we will be back when tennis starts on Sonntag. See ya!